Welcome to the Tying Bench with Steve Hudson. The Tying Bench is a production of flykits.net, your source for quality fly tying kits and fly tying guides. The Tying Bench is presented in conjunction with Alpharetta Outfitters, covering your fly fishing and fly tying needs from the heart of Alpharetta, Georgia.
Well, hello everyone. I'm Steve Hudson, and welcome to this episode of The Tying Bench. Today we're going to tie a fly that may be something unique in your experience. It's a pattern called Ken's Crazy Ant, and it is hands down one of the neatest insect imitations I've ever seen. Ken's Crazy Ant was created by Ken Walrath, a fly tyer up in Massachusetts. When I talked to Ken about how he developed the fly, he told me that he and his wife were preparing for a trip in their RV, and as they were preparing, they were putting down non-slip shelf liner material in the RV's cabinets and drawers. Ken looked at the material, and the wheels began to turn, and it wasn't long until he was thinking about the fly tying possibilities offered by the shelf liner material. What finally developed is Ken's Crazy Ant. And believe me, you're going to love tying and fishing this fly. To tie Ken's Crazy Ant, you'll use a size 16 nymph or dry fly hook. You'll use 6/0 thread and a body made from shelf liner material, as we'll see in a moment. The wing is made from poly yarn in white or yellow or another easy to see color, and for the hackle you can use Grizzly or black or brown, whatever suits the fly that you're tying. The first thing you want to do is find the shelf liner that you'll use to make bodies for Ken's Crazy Ant. Shelf liner is available in a variety of different configurations. The most common seem to be the two shown here. On the left is what I call a diamond pattern shelf liner, where the little cells are arranged in a checkerboard made up of diamond shapes. That works for making some shelf liner flies, but it's not the one you want for Ken's Crazy Ant. To tie Ken's Crazy Ant, you want to use the type of material shown at right. This material consists of little cells with two threads running lengthwise in one direction, here from top to bottom, and one thread running lengthwise in the other direction, here from left to right. That's the key to creating the bodies that make Ken's Crazy Ant such an incredibly effective fly. To turn a piece of shelf liner material into bodies for Ken's Crazy Ant, first cut a strip from one edge of the material as shown. Notice that the strip will have two threads running in one direction with a single thread running in the other direction. What you'll end up with is a strip that looks like this. Again, note there are two threads running lengthwise. Now, using your scissors, cut a 4-segment piece from that strip of shelf liner material. You'll end up with something that looks like this, and this is what you'll use to make the body of your Ken's Crazy Ant. To turn that 4-segment piece into a Ken's Crazy Ant body, first grasp it so that you're holding 3 of the segments firmly. Then, using your thumbnail and a finger, pull off one of the end segments. 2 little threads will be exposed. Perfect antenna. Now, to continue preparing the body, flip the strip over. Grasp it again so one foam segment is exposed, and again, use your thumbnail and your index finger to pull the foam away, exposing 2 more threads. What you end up with has a remarkable resemblance to an insect. It's about as buggy looking a body as you're ever going to find. We'll be tying Ken's crazy ant on a size 16 dry fly or nymph hook. If I'm intentionally tying the fly to float, the dry fly hook can help the flotation. But if I'm looking at a subsurface version, I might want the heavier hook that I'll get if I choose a nymph model. Next, add a thread base. We don't need a thread base along the entire shank, so I start a little ways back from the eye. I wrap the thread around the mid portion of the hook shank. That will give me a secure anchoring point for the body in the next step. One last thing to do before mounting the body is to put my thread in the right position. I'm going to move it forward up the thread base to about the midpoint of my base. This will be roughly the midpoint of the hook shank, or maybe a little bit forward from there. Now I'm ready to tie that body, which I made earlier, onto the hook shank. I'm going to tie it into position by wrapping it down between the two segments. First, I make a loose wrap of thread, pull it tight, and then add 2 or 3 tight wraps to secure everything into place. It's already starting to look like an ant, and I'm just getting started. I think this is going to be a great fly. Now we're ready to add a polypropylene yarn wing to the fly. I like white, yellow is also good, but whatever color we choose, you're probably going to find the piece of yarn is too thick. So we'll pull it apart lengthwise to give us a thinner piece of yarn, which makes a more effective wing using the technique we'll show in just a moment. With our wing yarn thinned as desired, we're ready to tie the yarn to the body of the fly. Once the yarn is in position, take your tying thread and make a loose wrap over the midpoint of the bundle of yarn. Go all the way around the fly and then tighten the yarn by pulling forward and up. Now add a couple more wraps of thread to make certain that the yarn is securely tied into place. To complete the wing, pull the forward portion of wing yarn rearward so that it's positioned over the back portion of the fly. Then use your tying thread to make 2 or 3 tight wraps over the fold. That will secure the wing yarn in position angled back toward the back of the fly. Now prepare a hackle feather by trimming the barbs from the butt end of the feather close to the feather shaft. Then tie in the prepared end with several tight wraps of thread. If the front segment moves in the process, just move it back into position. Now you're ready to wrap that hackle. 2 or 3 turns is usually plenty for Ken's crazy ant, but see what your feather looks like and see how many you think you need. Wrap them until you're happy with the hackle. Then tie off the feather by pulling it forward and upward with your bobbin hand while using your other hand to bring the thread straight over the fly 2 or 3 times. That anchors the feather in place and gives you a secure and very tight tie-in. At that point, I like to add a couple of insurance wraps in front of the body over the hook shank to further secure everything in place. Then, once I've done that, I use the very tips of my scissors to reach in and cut away the excess hackle feather. All that's left now to finish your Ken's crazy ant is to tie off the thread. This is a great fly for using half hitches, and I like to use my half hitch tool to place two turn half hitches on the hook shank up under the front segment of the body. That's all it takes to anchor the thread. Then I use my scissors to slice away the excess tying thread, and with that, my Ken's Crazy Ant is almost finished. The last thing I need to do is trim the wing to length. The wing serves as a great sight spot, so trim it to a length that allows you to easily see the fly on the water. Make any final adjustments you need to make in the body position, and then you're ready to add head cement and take your fly to the stream. I think you'll agree that Ken's Crazy Ant has one of the neatest buggy profiles you've ever seen. The fish think so too, and this fly has given me some remarkable days on the water. Ken's Crazy Ant can be fished either as a subsurface fly or on top as a dry fly. If you know you're going to fish it as a dry fly, here's a variation on the basic theme that you might want to consider. Trim the hackle on the bottom and the top of the fly so that it sits flat on the water. This is easy to do. Just use your scissors to cut back the hackle fibers, top and bottom. That will leave most of the hackle fiber sticking out to the sides, and that allows the fly to ride low on the water right on the surface film, much like an actual ant would do. Well, that's about it for today's edition of the Tying Bench, and I hope you have enjoyed learning to tie Ken's Crazy Ant. It's an incredible fly, and I think you'll have a great time with it fishing for trout or panfish on your local waters where you live. If you'd like to learn more about tying shelf liner ants, I hope you'll check out our Tie It and Try It Shelf Liner Ant Kit. This kit includes plenty of materials not only for tying Ken's Crazy Ant, but also for tying another shelf liner ant that we call the diamond ant. I think you'll enjoy them both, and I look forward to seeing you next time on the Tying Bench. Till then, tight lines, and I'll be looking for you on the water.